to you by Irish owned and operated Travel Department. Let's see more.
Time to take a trip, Maura.
It is time to take
like
lots of trips. We are very excited because we're talking about bucket list holidays today. And I think it's really the time to start thinking about that if you can. Travel journalist Michelle Jackson is here with us to take us away. Michelle, great to see you.
Absolutely lovely to see you again, Maura.
We want some lovely weather. We want some lovely sights.
Oh, absolutely. And I've got just the list for you. And I'm going to start off with one of the most iconic bucket list road trips in the world. It's Route 66. Yeah. Now, Route 66 actually doesn't exist anymore. It's 2,500 miles of driveway, but the Americans built interstates, so it's broken up. And you can reach actually dead ends on part of the ways. So you need to know what you're doing and where you're going. And you need to go through all 8 states. It starts in Chicago, and then you travel through Missouri and Oklahoma, which I particularly like. Because you've got the longest actual authentic stretch of the road left. And you've got the Museum of Route 66 there, and the Museum of the Cowboy. And you can feel yourself heading west as you travel through Arizona, and you've got the Sandeman.
Oh, Arizona's cool.
Arizona's cool. It's very hot during the summer.
Of course, it's just desert, isn't
Texas
it?
as well.
Yeah, I like
Oh,
Texas.
yeah, you just got to kiss the top of the left-hand corner.
Okay.
And then, of course, in Arizona, you've got the Grand Canyon, which I think is one of the most epic sites to definitely visit. Yeah. And Arizona as well. You saw the Sandeman Mountains there. Beautiful. It all winds itself up.
So you can go to the Grand Canyon for that part?
Absolutely, yeah. You have to take a little bit off. But as I said, it's so broken up now, you really need someone to help you and guide you. And that's why I think this is an expensive trip if you go on your own and you're trying to navigate, because you won't navigate it. So if someone comes along and helps you, like if you go on a guided tour, they'll take your hand every step of the way, and you won't miss anything on the way.
Because there's lots to see there, Michelle.
There is a lot
to
see, yeah. I mean, and a little stop off in Vegas is very doable. And then you finish up in LA at the Santa Monica Pier with that famous Route 66.
And I think what people will get as well, Michelle, when they go there, because when people look at America, I think they look at New York, Chicago, the big cities.
Yeah, around.
What you go through all these small little quaint towns.
Absolutely.
And
real America.
Real America. It's really, really nice there.
It is. You can do it in loads of ways, but I think with a guided trip, because some people don't like driving when they're away, you know.
Well, I suppose if you can, it's nice to be able to, if your time is against you as well, if you kind of squish it all in. How long does it take, and what's kind of around the budget?
Well, roughly 14 days will cover it really well. And you'll get, it costs... I have a great value price here. Travel Department actually do for 4,500, which sounds like an awful lot, but if you think about
flights too?
That's your flights, and that includes some nights B&B, some nights with a lunch or there's a lot included in that. And if you were to go to these sites, like pay for your cable car, pay for going into the Grand Canyon, they all add up.
Oh yes, that's all paid for. Great.
But it's a trip of a lifetime as well. The bucket list.
It really is.
These are all, and Canada. I've never been to Canada. Well, so tell me about where I'm going now on this trip here with Travel Department.
We're going through the Rockies and Canada. We've got direct flights now to Vancouver, which is fantastic. And Vancouver is a beautiful city on the Pacific coast. And, you've got Gastown there, which is really one of the oldest parts of the town. They've got a steam clock there, and it's absolutely buzzing with fantastic food, lots of Asian food.
Lovely area.
And of course, it's the gateway to the Rockies. So you'll go on things like
go up to Whistler, couldn't you?
I can go to Whistler and go to Banff, which of course is a beautiful alpine town. But really what's important is getting out in nature and seeing animals that you won't normally see, like eagles and brown bears. And you can finish up a trip when you go back to Vancouver at the Capilano Suspension Bridge, which was built in 1889. And it's a fabulous walkway.
I don't know about that, no, Michelle.
It's very safe.
I wouldn't be scared, but you'd want to do it though. I think it's one of those things.
It's specially constructed so you're very safe and you don't have to worry about falling off. But there are so many things to do just in Vancouver, and they head off into the Rockies. Again, totally guided and looked after. €3,200. I mean,
that's pretty good.
If you were to just look up flights alone, and when you're booking with a tour operator, you see they block book the flights. They block book the hotels.
They get better deals than you get.
They can get much better. Yeah, people think they're
I need to be
guided
across that bridge on to Australia, Michelle.
And New Zealand together.
On to Australia. Yeah, what about this for 24 nights? I mean, you mightn't have family to visit over there, and you might be one of your top bucket list places. And I have to say, when you first see Sydney Opera House, it leaves you absolutely awe-inspired. And that amazing bridge over the harbour. There is just something, you feel so far away, yet you feel like you know this place. And it's so beautiful. All up along the east coast, you'll travel up to Palm Cove, which is just idyllic. It's the gateway to the forest and the Great Barrier Reef, and that's up in Queensland.
And I think if you're going, Michelle, if you're going to Australia, you'll need 2 weeks at least, wouldn't you?
No, I actually think three.
Three.
I wouldn't do
gosh.
3.
I went to New Zealand for 3 and it wasn't even enough,
And
really.
you know, New Zealand is included in this itinerary here. Now, this is a gobsmacking price, but don't forget, this is 24 days and included lots of nights are half board.
So you go to Australia first and then to New Zealand.
And then to New Zealand. And you get brought into Ayers Rock. Now, I've done the East Coast and West Coast in Australia, but I've never been to Ayers Rock. And I think you'll have dinner at the base of the monolith, which is one of the most important sacred sites in the world. So I think it's...
So what price range here for 24 days?
It's just under 13,000 for that.
Wow.
But
Okay.
if you,
It's over
if
3
you
weeks.
haven't been... 3 weeks.
Flights.
And Australia and New Zealand included.
Okay.
And if you had to add up the holidays you've saved over the last 3 years, if you haven't been away, this is your bucket list.
And I'd say a lot of people are doing that now because a lot of
Say so,
people
yeah.
didn't go away, so they're saying this is going to be my
Absolutely.
trip for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So you go then, do you fly into the
Well, you
North
go to-
Island and then the South Island?
You'll do both.
Oh,
but
good,
And
okay.
you'll also fly via Singapore or Hong Kong. So you've got a little Asian holiday on the way. A little
On the way.
double stop. Yeah.
Cape Town.
Oh, it sounds lovely.
Oh my
Cape Town's
goodness,
gorgeous,
Cape
yeah.
Town. Well, I mean, you've got to start off a trip, any trip to Cape Town, going on Table Mountain, don't you?
Yeah.
Because that is just this most iconic mountain. Cape Town has an awful lot to see and do. You've got beautiful Boulder Beach where they have the little penguins, and it's stunningly beautiful. But step outside and you've got Stellenbosch, the whole vineyard region.
We were
with
chatting about
fabulous
calories a while ago,
wine.
no more when it comes to wine.
I won't drink any wine this time. I drank it all the last time.
Now, do you know, I have to say, this package includes 3 nights safari in Kyger National
Oh, really? Because
Park.
they're very expensive.
They, on their
Yeah.
own, they cost a couple of thousand, and
do.
I can't get over the value in this. 3,750, 3 nights on safari, beautiful visit like Robben Island, all the main sites. You travel along the coast on that fabulous garden route to Port
You see
Elizabeth.
whales and
I
everything.
mean, there's some and sharks, and you'll see all manner of wildlife.
How
that
many
you wouldn't see.
nights?
That is a 13-night
Oh, that's
tour.
very good. And you know what's great about going to South Africa is that there's no time, there's only like 2 hours of time.
Oh,
difference.
yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
yeah,
get,
yeah.
I get really badly jet lagged,
Yeah.
you know, for certain places, like coming back from the States and stuff, and I think
That is something to really
For
know.
me,
There's
that's a
no
big
jet
deal.
lag when you're
So
going.
do you
when you're
go
going down.
through London usually?
Well, you'd usually fly through London, with
Through
South
London.
Africa areas, but you know, everything's taken care of. You'll start off in Dublin, your hand will be held by the
Yeah.
time you leave the airport.
holiday starts when you
whole
leave
way.
home.
The holiday starts when you leave home.
Sounds brilliant.
Exactly, yeah.
On to Japan.
Oh my goodness, Japan. Well,
I've never
this
been.
is a
Have you been,
huge
Laura?
You know what,
bucket
but
list.
I was meant to go during
That's right,
COVID,
I
do you remember?
remember
And we
that.
just,
Yeah,
it was
yeah, I said that.
cancelled.
Well, I mean, what an amazing one. I think everybody dreams of going here. And Osaka is where this trip starts with travel department. And it's a 12-night guided tour. And you take in all the culture. Osaka is the capital for food, but you're also going to towns like Nara, which have the temples. And there are certain ways, you know, you enter the temple, you ring a bell and you clap your hands and you bow. And you get to see the parks
The
in
culture
Nara
alone
with
is
all the deer. And you know, it's so ancient.
Yeah.
It has such history with the samurais. There is so much to see and do. Kyoto is on this trip. It's
Yeah, I'd
included.
love to see there.
And a trip to, the Hakone Zoo National Park, where you can see Mount Fuji
Yeah.
beautifully.
And there's the bullet train.
You get to go on a bullet train before you go to a tea ceremony in the geishas.
Okay, what's the bullet train?
The bullet train is one of the fastest trains in the
train in the
world,
world.
and it travels all the way, brings you to Tokyo. Odawara is where it takes you to. But that is an experience in itself to go on.
Where do you
bullet
go
with that
through Japan?
speed.
I do you go via Iceland or somewhere?
I'm not sure where this
Finland. You
particular
go-
one, you'd
yeah.
have to look it up
Yeah,
online.
there's. I think Finland is one of the hop-off
I'd like
points.
to go
I
there, I
think.
don't know.
Yeah, I think
but
you
when
go, yeah.
I'm going to Japan now, I'd want to do more while I'm over that side of the
I'd like to-
parish, if you like.
Yeah, but I suppose you could extend and whatever, you know, you could probably talk to them, but it sounds brilliant actually. Michelle, thank you so
Michelle,
much.
thanks for bringing
it's
us
lovely
away.
to have
Oh,
that.
you're welcome.
Bringing some
Yeah.
sunshine
Like,
into our
little
lives.
holiday coming here.
And they're just holidays of a lifetime. You know what? I think in everyone needs one of those in their lifetime.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much. Now, of course, you can find out more information about our Travel Thursday segment. You can pop onto our Facebook page and our Instagram to check out all those lovely holidays of a lifetime.
Brought to you by Irish owned and operated Travel Department. Let's see more.